Mr. Frederick?
Yes, ma'am, but not with these horses. Get up!
Here, boy, let us lend a hand there. Take a pin that in. Here we are. Careful. Down into the wheel. Well done. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Smith. You're very welcome.
Nine already? Bring the rest of the books in when you
Don't
finish.
worry, Miss Crandall.
Here you are, Miss Crandall.
Thank you, Mr. Frost, Dr. Adams.
Plato's Republic, Euclid's Geometry, Herodotus.
Herodotus.
Herodotus?
Herodotus. Aren't these subjects better left to men, Miss Crandall?
Well, they have been, Dr. Adams, but I'd hardly say that's made things better. Good day, gentlemen. Marcia, are the girls inside, Miss Prudence? My first day at school. I'm already late. That looks wonderful, Marcia. Thank you, Miss Prudence. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Miss Crandall.
Thank you for being so prompt. I'll have to learn a lesson from you, Now, it will be our custom here to begin and end each day with a prayer. So why don't we all bow our heads? Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted.
May I have this dance, Miss Crandall? You wouldn't want to insult your host, would you?
I suppose it would be rude.
Town Selectmen have decided to observe you at your school.
Oh, I'm afraid Dr. Adams and Mr. Frost are worried that I'm teaching their daughters to think for themselves.
Oh, they'll come around. May I tell you a secret? The only reason I gave this party was to find an excuse to dance with you.
Well, I hope I haven't disappointed you.
I can't imagine you would ever disappoint me, Miss Crandall. Thank you, Miss Crandall.
Thank you, Mr. Gibson.
I believe we're being watched.
You don't think they disapprove?
I suspect they do.
Now listen carefully and repeat after me. Comment allez-vous?
Comment allez-vous?
It's very good.
Merci.
No, thank you. Je suis très bien, merci.
Je suis très bien, merci.
Je suis très bien, merci. Tu es très bien, merci. Tu es très bien, merci. Tu.
What do you think you're doing?
Nothing.
Well, here's something. I don't know what Charles sees in you.
My intelligence. Very good. Now, shall we continue? Am I going to have to force it out of you?
I thought you accepted this ride simply to be with me.
I did. Well, what did the selectmen think of my school?
Dr. Adams was effusive,
And Mr. Frost?
delighted.
And Reverend Whitten?
Even the very Reverend Whitten conceded he's never seen a school run so well.
That leaves only Mr. Andrew Gibson.
Mr. Gibson is the happiest of all.
Thou still unravished bride of quietness, thou foster child of silence and slow time.
Marcia?
I've made a list of goods we need at Mr. Coyte's store. Yes, ma'am. I'll do it right away.
Wonderful, sir. You ready? Would you like to go for a walk?
Yes, I would.
Why don't we move?
Will you excuse me, Andrew?
Sir.
Well, one of us has to speak first, so it might as well be me. I know you don't think it's right that I've opened my own school.
This isn't about the school. The elders called me in. They told me that you had left our faith. I stood there and told them that a Quaker would never... Why would they say such a thing? When did this happen?
Father,
When?
I didn't know how to tell you.
The elders have offered to let you return to your teaching at the Academy in Providence. I've told them that you would. And I assure you it will not be for any profit.
I'm sorry, but I'm nearly 30. I don't have a husband and little prospect of obtaining one. I bought my house with my own money, and I turned it into a school the whole town is proud of, and I will not give it up.
The elders will disown you.
Well, let them. I found God in other houses. I invited him into mine.
Don't force me to make a choice.
Father. Father. Thank you, Marcia. Is there something else? No, Miss Prudence. Well, yes, Miss Prudence. I was hoping, Miss Prudence, if I might be able to sit in the back of your class. I'll be marrying Mr. Charles
may.
Harris soon, and I'm sure it would make me a better wife to... I may?
Mm-hmm. If you finish all your chores first, I won't object.
Oh, I will, Miss Prudence. I will. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But when you buy the wares of knowledge, you cannot carry them away in another vessel. They have been sold to you, and you must take them into the soul and go your way, either greatly harmed or greatly benefited by the lesson. Who would like to read next?
She's actually letting you sit in her class?
I swear she's letting me do it.
Well, I never heard of a white person doing such a thing.
We're hoping Marcia can become a teacher in Rhode Island after we get married.
I was thinking of asking her if she'd let me enroll.
The white folks will never let you do it. She only let Marcia do it because Marcia works for her.
Maybe times are changing, William.
And maybe the leopard has changed his spots, Now, I don't mean to sound harsh, child, but I don't want to see your hopes turned into disappointments. Heavenly Father, we thank thee for what we are about to receive. Amen.
Amen.
Here's your chance. Go on. Father will kill me if he finds out. All right, I'll do it. Dear Lord, please let her say yes.
Come in.
I'll be leaving now, Miss Crandall, and I just didn't want you to be without.
Thank you, Frederick. Do you know Sarah Harris?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm considering admitting her to my school. What do you think?
I don't know, Miss Crandall.
You're not against people of your race getting a higher education, are you?
Oh, no, ma'am.
Well,
Only
only what?
my papa used to tell me you should never tickle a porcupine.
Well, I've been asking myself over and over why I should not admit her. And I can find no good reason. Why should one's skin color be an impediment to an education?
Don't ask me. I didn't make that rule. Miss Crandall,
Yes.
have you ever read a newspaper called The Liberator?
No, I haven't, but I should very much like to. My God.
You've hardly spoken a word since we've left. Is everything all right?
Yes, of course.
It will be 5 years this spring since my wife passed away. Why do I feel like a young boy in front of his school teacher? Prudence, I've tried to keep my feelings about you a secret.
It's not one you've kept very well.
Please, let me get this out or I'll never be able to say it.
Yes.
I know there's some difference in our ages, but I ask you not to judge a book by its cover. If you could find in your heart even some small stirring of affection toward me, I would cherish such feelings forever.
I don't mean to tease you, and you should never doubt my feelings.
And my dearest Prudence, will you marry me?
Nothing would make me happier.
Not even being the wife of a state senator?
Really?
Yes, I've decided to run. I'll have to go to Hartford tomorrow, but when I come back, we'll officially announce our engagement.
Mr. Harris.
Oh, Miss Crandall. How do you do?
Your daughter Sarah asked me if I would enroll her in my school.
She did.
After much soul-searching, I've decided to accept her.
You have?
Tuition is $25 per term, payable when you can. She can start on Monday.
Thank you, ma'am.
You'll be making a mockery of those who have supported you.
Frankly, it's a disgrace. You'll cause the colored inhabitants of Canterbury to look up and claim equality.
Your sentiments are wonderfully Christian, gentlemen.
It's not that we don't highly regard some colored people. William Harris is a hard worker. There isn't one of us who doesn't feel his daughter should be educated.
Just as long as it's at some other school.
The point is, Miss Crandall, we cannot set a precedent here that will level the races. This is the kind of thing that can only lead to intermarriage.
May I remind you, Dr. Adams, that Moses married a colored woman?
Really, Miss Crandall, you may as well advocate polygamy because it was lawful in the days of antiquity.
Daniel, we are not unreasonable men, Miss Crandall. If Andrew Gibson were here, as he should be, I'm sure that he would agree with us wholeheartedly.
And I believe that he will wholeheartedly support my decision.
Well, be that as it may, I'd like to propose what I consider to be a fair solution. Now, you can move your school to some less prominent location, and then if you choose to admit Sarah Harris, that will be your business.
And what about my house?
I'm sure funds can be found to buy it back from you.
Gentlemen, neither my house nor my convictions are for sale. Now, I have a right to run my school as I wish.
You're a woman, Miss Crandall. An unmarried woman. You have no rights.
Good morning, Daniel.
Ladies, will you please take your seats at once?
There are more coming, and Dr. Adams has joined them now.
She tickled the porcupine.
Here they come.
Good morning, William. How's Mrs. Harris?
Much better. Thank you, Dr. Adams, sir.
I'm glad to hear that.
Go on back to your farm, nigger.
I'm bringing my Sarah to school.
This is white girls' school, William. You know that.
No, sir, Dr. Adams. I don't believe that's true anymore. Come, Sarah. I'll take you in.
Mr. Harris? Have you taken leave of your senses?
Now, really, Miss Crandall.
I will not be patronized. Good morning, Mr. Harris. Charles? Sarah, you look lovely.
Thank you, Miss Crandall.
Let me help you down.
I'm warning you, Miss Crandall, stop this now or your school will sink.
Then let it sink. Mr. Harris, I have a pot of tea brewing. Would you and Charles care to come in and have a cup to warm you for the journey back?
Thank you, Miss Crandall.
Please.
This matter will not end here, Miss Crandall.
Ladies, I'm sure most of you know her, but for those who do not, this is Sarah Harris. And she will be joining us in our lessons from now on. I trust you'll make her welcome and treat her as you yourselves would wish to be treated. Sarah, you may take that empty seat right there. Well, now, we begin and end each day with a prayer. Although we've already said our morning prayer, I don't think it would be inappropriate to start this day over with the 23rd Psalm. Do you? No. Are you familiar with it, Sarah?
Oh, yes, Miss Crandall.
Very good. Let us all bow our heads. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures.
Viola Adams, get your coat and come with me. Now.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul.
He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life.
And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen.
Why you could not have waited for me to come back before setting upon this course, I will never understand.
I didn't want to involve you in my decision.
But I am involved. I'd asked these people to elect me state senator.
It was never my intention to harm you, Andrew.
Why did you feel you had to do this?
I looked into her eyes and saw myself. Help me. Speak out on my behalf.
But she's a colored girl, for God's sake.
And didn't you once say that one should never judge a book by its cover?
So I did. But you must see that the time isn't right. One day, perhaps, but now it is too soon. Promise me you'll wait a bit, and I'll do everything in my power to bring back your former students.
I've put my hand to the plow, and I cannot turn back.
So be it.
Andrew, I've told no one of our engagement.
Neither have I.
Mr. William Lloyd Garrison, the Liberator, Boston, Massachusetts. Dear Mr. Garrison, I am to you, sir, I presume, an entire stranger, and you are indeed so to me, except through the fire of your words.
Tell me why.
Because it could put us out of business.
When have you ever run from controversy?
No.
I will not.
Too far. I will not publish this.
I will not retreat an inch.
You cannot call the President of the United States a bloody ignoramus and not expect to inflame our enemies.
I don't give a tinker's damn if they roast in hell. I only regret that the English tongue is so lamentably weak and deficient that I can't curse slavery in terms equal to its infamy. Mr. Knapp and I agree that you should compose this as is.
Mr. William Lloyd Garrison.
Yes.
I'm Prudence Crandall from Canterbury, Connecticut. Well, I wrote to you and you wrote back, inviting me up.
My teacher of intrigue. Forgive me, I forgot. I'm honored to make your acquaintance. How was your trip? Did you find a hotel?
Yes, I'm at the Marlborough.
Good. You must pardon my initial surprise only. I was expecting some kind of elderly matron. This is my associate, Mr. Knapp.
Miss Crandall.
How do you do?
William, we
Would
have a lot of
you
work
care
to do.
for some tea, Miss Crandall, please?
Well, yes.
Come into my parlor.
Thank you.
You'll have to excuse the clutter. I'm afraid I maintain the habits of a bachelor. Please. So, am I as you imagined me?
I confess my mind drew a different picture. I thought you much older. Sort of feeble, elderly gentleman.
The hypocrisy in our northern states runs deep, Miss Crandall. Did you know there are still slaves in your own state of Connecticut?
I had no idea.
Even teachers can learn. And be aware, you've stepped into the forefront of a great battle. Now, I can be your willing knight who will do all within his power to help you. But it will be your battle. Send them back to Africa. Out of sight, out of mind. Such are the noble thoughts of the American Colonization Society. I intend to tear the mask from the faces of those hypocrites and expose them in all their naked deformity. But I'm dissatisfied with almost everything I perform. The days, the weeks, the months roll by with alarming swiftness. And what have I to show for them?
How can you say that? Your paper is the one ray of hope we have.
Thank you, but unfortunately it hasn't banished centuries of darkness. I'll tell you the two capital errors we've made in advancing our cause. We men have undervalued the power of women, and they have undervalued themselves. And why are the slaves not created in the image of God? Because they're black. And why would they be lazy, improvident, and worthless if set free? Because they're black. Why would the slaves, if emancipated, cut the throats of their masters? Because they're black. Why are our slaves not fit for freedom? Because they're black. And why are the slaves contented and happy? Because they're black. Why don't they want to be free? Because they're black. And why are they not our brethren and our countrymen? Because they're black. Why doesn't the North mind its own business and stop interfering with the question of Southern slavery? Because they're black.
Mr. Garrison!
Who is it?
It's Miss Crandall.
Miss Crandall?
I've had a vision. No, not a vision. A calling. An epiphany. Oh, I don't know how to describe it, but I knew I had to come here and tell you right away.
Oh, please come in.
I was nearly asleep when suddenly my whole being was filled with a great clarity. I know now what I must do with my life from this moment on. I want all my students to be colored girls. I want to open my school only to them.
There exists no such school as you propose anywhere in the United States. And those who oppose you will do so with all the force they can muster.
So you think now is too soon?
I think that yesterday was too late. I think that what you propose is like a clarion call heralding the onset of a great and glorious war.
I want to call it a select school for young ladies of color. Will you help me with it?
I'll damn anyone who gets in your way. I'll arrange to send you a list of black families in New England whose daughters would be a credit to your school. I'll also write to several abolitionist leaders and ask them to rally around your cause. Also, I correspond with a Unitarian minister not far from you, the Reverend Samuel May. If you find yourself in dire need of a friend, go to him.
I can't thank you enough.
I once went to prison for my beliefs, and I would do so again if I thought it would bring emancipation one day closer. What I'm saying is, you must be prepared for the same.
And if such a thing were to happen, where will I find the strength to bear it?
I'm an agitator, not a mystic. You'll solve your riddles when you need to solve them. Au revoir, Prudence Crandall.
Au revoir, William Lloyd Garrison.
May God be with you.
Been chopping all morning.
Yes? I want you to put some water on for tea as soon as
It's
we
already
get back.
on, Miss Crandall.
There she is. Eliza Hammond? Hello. Welcome to Canterbury. I'm Miss Crandall. We're so happy to see you. This is Frederick.
How do you do, Miss Hammond?
And Marcia.
Oh, we've been praying for this moment for the longest time.
Well, Frederick will get your trunk. Come in, we'll get you settled. This is where we do our work. We study mathematics, and philosophy, literature, the sciences. Do you like to draw and paint? Well, we study art 3 times a week. Would you like to see your room now?
Miss Crandall? God bless you.
So we know that a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
Miss Prudence Crandall has perverted this school from its original and avowed purpose. Is this how we're to be paid back for our support? I call on you, you who value your property, to be roused by the spark of self-respect and prevent this woman from destroying our town. What say you?
As it says in the book of Joshua, now therefore ye are cursed, and there shall be none of you be freed from being bondmen, and hewers of wood, and drawers of water for the house of my God. In vain did our forefathers cross rough seas and leave us this land. In vain did our ancestors bleed. In vain did they toil. If we weaken now and suffer these Negroes to share our houses, our fields, our fields.
Do we really want 30 or 40 unmarried colored girls living in the heart of our town? How long do you think it'll be before it's 3, maybe 4 times that number? Now, this petition will force our elected representatives to pass a law to stop her from bringing the sin of intermarriage to our community.
Take your hands off that.
Sorry, sir. Good day, Mr. Court. I'll need these supplies for my school. Frederick will be by to pick them up later.
I'm afraid I won't be able to sell my goods to you anymore.
I pay my bills.
If I sell to you, no one else will buy from me. The town's voted a boycott against you until you get rid of your colored girls.
Really? Did the town also vote to poison my well? Marcia? I need your help, Father. The town's cut off our wood and food. Our water's been poisoned. Please, don't punish me as well.
You have brought this upon your own head.
Is something wrong with the roast?
No. I'm sorry. It's very good. I've treated you unfairly, Andrew.
Why would you say something like that?
I came here because I need help. I came here for your strength.
As a lover or an ally?
Perhaps I better go.
Prudence, wait. Hear me. Perhaps the certainty of my feelings can help you. I invited you here tonight because I wanted to tell you that I forgive you. Despite what you've done, my feelings for you are unchanged.
Despite what I've done?
God knows I'm trying, Prudence.
Yes.
Is it this man Garrison? I've read his paper. I've heard what he's had to say about the people of Canterbury.
You don't know the first thing.
I know he's blinded you. I know he's only interested in you so he can promote his foul ideas. Prudence, if you desire to be with children, I am not opposed. My offer of marriage still stands. I can think of no better woman to be a mother.
I'm sorry, Andrew. These girls I teach, they are my children.
And what are you teaching them? That they're equal to white people? That once they leave the sanctity of your school, the world will treat them differently than before? What kind of a lesson is that?
The only one I can teach. And the world will treat them differently because they'll change that world. Even if others blindly oppose it.
Take heed, Prudence. There is an anger in this town that will only grow deeper.
Oh, how heavy. Oh, it's so heavy. You've come to our rescue with all these provisions, Mr. Harris. I don't know where to begin to thank you.
Whoa!
You won't let me pay you, and...
No, I'm not interested in the money, Miss Crandall.
Sarah's told me you once hoped to be a teacher. Will you come to the school and lecture for us? It would mean so much to the girls and me.
Well, now, that's possible, Miss Crandall. I like that idea.
Yes?
Yes.
So we'll call it a deal?
You sure you don't want Charles to drive you all back in the wagon after it's loaded up?
It's a lovely day. The exercise will do us good. Keep walking. You may hold hands if you wish. Keep walking. Reverend Whitten?
I'm sorry, Miss Crandall, but the trustees of the church have decided to bar college from services. Of course, you are free to attend by yourself.
I worship with the girls or not at all.
Suit yourself.
God doesn't judge the black sheep apart from the white, Mr. Frost.
Do you presume to speak for God as well, Miss Crandall?
It was a lovely service, thank you.
Jonathan. Good day, sir. All right, this way.
Reverend Samuel May? Mr. William Lloyd Garrison said I should seek you out when I was in need of an ally.
You must be the school teacher from Canterbury.
So I turned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun. Behold the tears of the oppressed, for they had no comforter. But on the side of the oppressor, there was power, But they have no comforter either. I look out at your faces and see a beautiful variety. This is God's work, and we must never, ever pervert it into a monotonous sameness and then praise ourselves and call it good. Well, I believe you are the bravest woman in America, Miss Crandall. I don't know whether to cheer you or pity you for it.
I simply seek a friend.
Oh, you may count on it. Did you know that Mr. Garrison is coming here to Brookline?
When?
Sunday after next. He delivered one of those fiery assaults on the narrow-minded. Made him rather infamous. He'll be staying at my home, and I'd be happy, indeed, honored to accommodate you as well.
Oh, I'd be delighted.
See you again in 2 weeks.
What do you say we have a proper Sunday dinner with all the Trinity? Thanksgiving! Yes, that's right. You can all help. And I'll make the centerpiece.
I think it needs more flowers. I'll be right back.
Stand up. We have in this town an ordinance against vagrancy.
I live at Miss Crandall.
Law says we can strip vagrants naked and whip them 10 times before we throw them out of town.
Oh, Lord, please don't hurt me.
Send you all back to Africa.
Everyone stay here. Can I see you? Will you let me see you? My God. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Mr. Frost!
Yes, Miss Crandall.
If you feel fit to whip my girls, then strike me too. Go on, Mr. Frost. Strike me.
These fine citizens of Canterbury are just beginning to show their true colors.
Now we've got to turn the screws more tightly than they can imagine.
Yes, there's a petition circulating to close the school. And the state legislature is debating this very issue.
Let them pass a law. I have to go to London for several months to raise money for the cause, but when I come back, we'll take it to the Supreme Court in the land if need be.
I don't know how much longer the girls can withstand such blind hatred.
No, they can't waver now. If the law whips them, they must bear it. Each blow will resound throughout the land.
Sheer lunacy to use a vagrancy law against these children.
These are lunatic times, Reverend. My God, I almost wish he had whipped her. Think of what we could have said about that in the Liberator.
If you'll excuse me.
William.
Damn my blasted mouth. Prudence, this is no time to lose your resolve.
My girls are not lead type that you may move around on your press for the greater glory of William Lloyd Garrison. They are not words, or causes, or ideas one may banter with over dinner. Eliza is a flesh and blood person. And if you had held her in your arms, or felt her tears upon your breast, you would never have said what you did.
Forgive me.
You don't know what a trial each day has been. I've prayed every night for the chance to see you again. To renew the strength we found together in Boston. I'm trembling.
William, you must hurry.
William?
I didn't want to disturb you. The sheriff's on his way here with a warrant for my arrest. It seems the good Andrew Gibson has sworn out a writ of libel against me. I wrote a letter. For you, I was going to give it to Sam. Here.
Well, what's in it that you can't say to my face?
William!
I'm engaged to be married. Her name is Helen Benson. I've known her family for years.
You love her?
I suppose. Yes. Prudence,
You'd better go.
put aside your feelings for me. Let nothing dissuade you from your calling.
I won't.
My dearest Miss Crandall, whose influence is so potent as woman's, whose benevolent heroism or moral excellence or deep devotion is comparable to hers.
out there who would call you degraded simply for the color of your skin. We must reject this utterly.
Ladies, pray continue, Mr. Harris.
3,000 years ago, our ancestors occupied the forefront of civilization. The Egyptians were black Africans. Herodotus, the father of history, says as much.
I'm sorry.
What's going on out there?
They passed a law. The black law, they call it. Says you can't bring colors from another state to Connecticut in order to teach them. They're celebrating.
Everybody come. Study well those faces and see them for what they are. The geometry of hate, the science of ignorance, the literature of fear. I can only teach you the quiet light of truth. Embrace it. And I promise there's no cannon, no sword, no law that can extinguish it. I wish it were you getting married today, Miss Prudence. And I wish we weren't moving away.
Oh, now enough of that.
Rhode Island is right next door.
I'll never forget all that you've done for me.
Miss Crandall, I'm sorry,
Sheriff Cady, a man and a woman are about to be married here.
but it's this black law. I have a warrant for your arrest. You'll have to come with me.
I came as soon as I heard. I see your supporters have deserted you.
No, Andrew. I'm not deserted. They offered help, but I refused.
Let me post bond and save you from this horror.
No. I'm only afraid I will not be put in jail.
I beg you not to martyr yourself for the ideas of William Lloyd Garrison.
This has nothing to do with him. What I do of my own free will. Sheriff?
Prudence, wait! Our ideas, no matter how different, are still but ideas and separate from our feelings. There was a love we both once professed. I swear mine again now.
Then come with me. Place me in your jail, Sheriff.
I cleaned up for you. And I thought you might want the Bible. My wife is making a supper.
Will you thank her for me?
Crandall, are you decent?
Yes, you may come in.
This was hand-delivered for you, Miss Crandall.
Thank you. Were you able to find out how my girls are doing?
Sally Harris and the Reverend May are watching him. That's all I know.
Thank you, Sheriff.
My dear Prudence, I've just learned of your imprisonment, and I send this letter to you with all possible haste. I hope, under the circumstances, that you're doing well.
You broke my heart, William.
It was not my intention.
And what is to become of me now?
I will do all within my power to help you. There's an attorney I've spoken with, Parker Ellsworth. He's totally committed to our cause. He'll leave for Canterbury at once. Remember the words we spoke when we first met? I told you that I was once in prison for my beliefs.
And I asked where I would find strength to bear it.
And I replied that you alone would discover the solution to your own riddle when you needed to. Now is the time, Prudence. Now is the time.
When I am weak, then I am strong.
Your bond's been posted, Miss Crandall.
The newspapers are calling you the most stubborn, stiff-necked female in the entire country.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
We Crandalls have always been stubborn and stiff-necked. Especially when we're right.
I missed you all so much.
Oh, we prayed for you.
Did you? I prayed for you too.
Eliza has a present for you.
What is this?
Oh, 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 it's beautiful, Eliza. Oh, I will treasure it always. Oh. Come here.
Wonderful. Thank you.
The lawyer that Mr. Garrison sent is here for you, Miss Prudence.
Busy. Well, I best go in and see him.
I don't think there's anything I've ever wanted more as a lawyer than to argue your case for you.
I'm afraid, Mr. Ellsworth, that we don't have the money to pay you.
All that's been taken care of.
By whom?
The Benson family.
Would that be the family of Miss Helen Benson, whom Mr. Garrison is engaged to marry?
Have you any objections?
No.
Do you think Prudence has any chance of winning?
If clear heads prevail. But I can't mislead you. There will be a dozen white men on the jury, and they will not look kindly upon what you've done.
There's something else that troubles you.
The girls. Your students. The opposing lawyer has subpoenaed them as witnesses.
He can't do that. You don't know what they've been through already. To march them into a court of law, surrounded by all those faces. It's too much to ask of them. I won't permit it.
The black law allows it.
Well,
And there may be no way to prevent Mr. Gibson from doing it.
Mr. Andrew Gibson?
Mr. Garrison tells me you know him.
Yes, we do.
I think I should advise the girls of their rights.
Oh, please let me speak with him first. Excuse me.
Hear ye, this is case number 213 before the County Court, Wyndham, Judge David Daggett presiding. State of Connecticut versus Miss Prudence Crandall. All rise.
Has the jury been sworn in?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor?
Yes, Mr. Ellsworth.
It has come to my attention, Your Honor, that one of the jurors, Mr. Simon Olin, is currently a member of the legislature and, in fact, voted for the so-called black law that brings us here today. Therefore, Your Honor, we ask that you dismiss him from this jury.
I don't mean to appear thick-headed, Mr. Ellsworth, but what are the grounds for your objection to Mr. Olin?
He voted for the law, Your Honor, which means he's formed an opinion that is clearly prejudicial to my client.
I myself was a member of that same legislature, Mr. Ellsworth. Do you mean to say that I am prejudiced as well?
Not knowing you well enough, Your Honor, I prefer to give you the benefit of the doubt.
I'll remember that, Mr. Ellsworth. And may I remind you that all reasonable men form opinions. It's quite natural. Just as it is quite natural for opinions to change. Your job, Mr. Ellsworth, is to change his opinion. Do it well enough, and you'll win your case. Mr. Olin shall remain seated.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Will the state's attorney read the charge, please?
Your Honor, that the said Prudence Crandall did harbor, board, and instruct at a school in Canterbury certain colored persons, to wit Eliza Hammond, Catherine Ann Weldon, and others who at the time so taught were not inhabitants of any town in this state.
And does the defendant still plead innocent to the charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
That will be enough. That will be enough. Very well. You may begin your opening argument, Mr. Gibson.
Gentlemen of the jury, I think there's a grave misunderstanding as to the reason why we're here today. The legislators who enacted the black law and the people who now support it are not opposed to the education of the colored population. I am no advocate or defender of slavery. I lament its existence and regret its evils as much as any man or woman in this room. But what I do oppose is the importation of coloreds from other places for the purpose of education. I oppose it because it is simply the law. And those of us who would teach the rest of society must begin by learning to abide by the laws society makes.
Mr. Ellsworth.
Your Honor, gentlemen of the jury, my worthy opponent, Mr. Gibson, has asked you to uphold the law. I admire his reasonableness and applaud his noble sentiments. Only I can't help but wonder why he neglected to mention one small item: the Constitution of these United States. Was it because this so-called black law is utterly and completely at odds with the very principle in the Constitution that the citizens of each state shall be entitled to the privileges and immunities of the citizens in all the states? These girls have a constitutional right to an education in any state they choose, just as Miss Crandall has the right to teach them. And so I ask for your help. Those who persecute Miss Crandall have cloaked their bigotry with a law. Together, we can tear off that cloak and lay bare their hypocrisy. And we will do it with the only means we need: the Constitution of the United States.
The state may present its case now.
Your Honor, the state would like to call the Honorable Mr. Daniel Frost.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated, Mr. Frost.
Mr. Frost, are you familiar with Miss Crandall's school?
I ought to be. I'm downwind of it.
Objection. I move his remark be stricken.
Sustained. The jury is to disregard Mr. Frost's remark.
Mr. Frost, have you ever had occasion to visit Miss Crandall's school?
Indeed, I called on her some months ago. I wanted to talk to her about her colored girls.
And what happened at that time?
Well, she introduced me to 4 of them. They were from New York, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island.
Objection. Hearsay.
I'll allow it, Mr. Ellsworth. Overruled.
Would you repeat again, Mr. Frost, where these girls who attend Miss Crandall's school come from?
New York, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island.
Thank you. That's all, Your Honor.
Tell me, Mr. Frost, you would consider yourself a law-abiding member of the community, would you not?
I would.
Then tell me, Mr. Frost, what law gave you the right to tear the clothes off a poor, defenseless black girl, throw her to the ground, then whip her?
Mr. Frost is not on trial. The question is abominable.
Is it irrelevant that those who would uphold the black law degrade the very Constitution itself?
Objection sustained.
I've done with this man anyway.
I only did what any other honorable white man would do, and I'd do it again.
May we move on, Mr. Gibson?
Your Honor, at this time, the state would like to call Miss Eliza Hammond.
No, I won't let you. I plead guilty, Your Honor.
No, don't.
I don't have them involved in this.
Your Honor, my client is greatly distressed by what she has just witnessed. We need time to discuss her plea. I request an immediate adjournment.
Any objections, Mr. Gibson?
No, Your Honor.
Very well. You have until tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, Mr. Ellsworth, at which time she may enter a guilty plea if she so desires. This court is adjourned.
I can't put them through it.
You have no choice.
I do. I do, really. Forgive my stubbornness, Father. It's brought nothing but hatred upon this house. I plead guilty, and I spare them.
Spare them? Spare them what? If you change your plea now, the state wins. And all that you've tried to teach these girls will have been for naught.
Perhaps it has been anyway. I have nothing left to give them.
Except your strength. Give them that. And they will have learned more than any fact from any textbook.
Frederick Olney?
Yes.
You're under arrest.
What's the charge?
Arson.
I saw him set fire to your school last night.
That's not true.
Don't be ridiculous. Why would he do a thing like that?
To help you gain publicity for your plight.
What?
You can put a stop to this before anyone else is forced to suffer.
I was wrong, Miss Crandall. Do as you think best. Spare the girls.
Your Honor, at this time, the state is willing to accept a guilty plea by Miss Crandall.
Will the defendant rise? Do you wish to enter a guilty plea, Miss Crandall?
No, Your Honor. I maintain my innocence.
Very well. Let us resume the proceedings. Mr. Gibson?
Your Honor, the state calls Eliza Hammond.
Eliza Hammond, will you now step forward?
We object to this witness, Your Honor.
The state has every right to call her, Your Honor.
Approach the bench, gentlemen.
What are the grounds for your objection, Mr. Ellsworth?
Your Honor, the witness cannot testify without implicating herself.
May I remind Your Honor that the black law specifically states she must testify as a witness in any prosecution.
The legislature has no right to compel a witness to answer a question that might implicate him.
The law is clear, Mr. Ellsworth. She must take the stand.
The witness may be sworn in.
Miss Hammond? Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated.
Relax, Miss Hammond. Nothing bad is going to happen to you.
Yes, sir.
How old are you?
15, sir.
Certainly old enough to know the difference between right and wrong.
I think so, sir.
Speak louder, child.
Yes, sir.
And between the truth and a lie.
Yes, sir.
When did you come to Canterbury? Miss Hammond.
I decline to answer on the grounds that I might incriminate myself.
But you've sworn to tell the truth now. What state were you born in, Miss Hammond?
I decline to answer on the grounds that I might incriminate myself.
Has Miss Crandall kept a school for colored girls from other states?
I decline to answer on the grounds that I might incriminate myself.
Has the defendant instructed any persons of color since April of this year?
I decline to answer.
Yes, I know. Is Catherine Ann Weldon a student at Miss Crandall's school?
I decline to answer on the...
Who put you up to this? Was it Miss Crandall's attorney?
No, sir.
Do you even know what the words you're saying mean?
Yes, sir, I do. I know because I am educated, and she's the one who taught us, God bless her.
This is intolerable, Your Honor.
Do you wish to do something about it, Mr. Gibson?
No. Not at this time. I have no more questions.
You may step down.
Your Honor, the state calls Catherine Ann Weldon to the stand. Do your parents reside in New York State?
I decline to answer on the grounds that I may incriminate myself.
Has Miss Crandall boarded and instructed colored persons not of this state?
I decline to answer on the grounds that I may incriminate myself. I decline to answer on the grounds that I might incriminate myself.
I refuse to answer on the grounds that I may incriminate myself.
May I remind you, Miss Harris, that you are a resident of Connecticut and therefore cannot be implicated under the law in question. Now, please answer.
I decline to answer on the grounds that I may incriminate myself.
Enough is enough, Your Honor. I move you cite this girl for contempt.
Your Honor, rather than have this young lady committed, I'd like to advise her to testify at this time.
Sound advice, Mr. Ellsworth. You will answer the questions, Miss Harris.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Miss Harris, are you a member of Miss Crandall's school?
Yes.
Is Eliza Hammond a pupil?
Yes.
Catherine Ann Weldon?
Yes.
Ann Peterson?
Yes, yes, yes.
And they all come from other states, do they not?
Yes. Miss Crandall runs a fine school, Your Honor. We pray twice a day. She's taught Eliza how to paint and Theodosia the piano. Amanda could barely read when she started. Now she's writing poetry, makes you cry. It's so beautiful. And I'm going to be a teacher someday. And I pray to God that I can do half as much to help others as Miss Crandall's done for us.
That's all. Well and good, Miss Harris. But your teacher is violating the law. That's all, Your Honor.
The witness is excused.
It's all right, child. It's all right.
The prosecution rests, Your Honor.
Mr. Ellsworth?
The defense has no witnesses to call, Your Honor.
Have you reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
Will the defendant rise? How say ye, gentlemen?
We, the jurors, find the defendant, Miss Prudence Crandall, guilty as charged.
Miss Crandall, your school will be closed immediately.
We demand an appeal.
Granted. Miss Crandall is to be released pending such an appeal. This court is now adjourned.
It's only the first battle.
There'll always be one more.
We should have our towns. I think so.